Welcome to the next session, which is Water Walk, Pyavs of Mumbai. Pyav is the quintessential drinking water fountain of Bombay. It is a classic example of architectural finesse and a mirror into the socio-cultural ethos to the mid-19th to the early 20th century of the Mumbai city. Our speaker today is Rahul Chemburkar, an alumni of Sir J.J. College of Architecture of the 1995 batch. He has been active in the field of heritage conservation and awareness since his early years as a practicing architect. In his 25 years of passionate professional journey, he has worked on some illustrious heritage conservation and cultural ventures through the architectural firm Vastu Vidhan, along with his batchmate architecture Bhalchandra Tople. At a very young age, his hands could stretch out his mental images and imagination. As the time progressed, he has achieved an amazing fluidity in his art, where in a few strokes, he can take you to his world and make you feel as if you are physically experiencing the same. Without taking your further time, we'll hand over the process to Rahul Chemburkar to start his
Good evening. Yeah. Good evening to everyone. From the maps now, let's come to the roads of Mumbai. And this is, we are going to have a kind of a nostalgic water walk through the roads of yesteryear Bombay and experience this lesser known facet of Mumbai's heritage. So I would like to, so myself, Rahul Chemburkar, so I would be presenting this, and my teammate Vinita she will be assisting me in putting up the PPT. So Vinita, can we just start? I'll just say next or yes, so you can forward the slides there. Yeah, Vinita, can you hear me? Vinita?
Yes, can you see the screen now?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, I can see the screen. I can see the screen. Make it full
Yes.
screen. Okay. So water, when we talk of water in a urban context, in a city like Mumbai, we can see it as it is very effectively depicted in this beautiful mural which you could spot at the entrance of Mahatma Phule Mandai, formerly known as the Crawford Market. You can see how water has played a very pivotal role in the social fabric of Mumbai's city life, like drawing water, fetching water, then so multiple. So that gives us insights of how water plays a major role beyond its utility aspect of drinking. Next, please. So we see Mumbai in Bombay. Uh, Architecture evolving around water sports in different forms and facets. So we are now, I'm just concentrating on the aspects related to fountains here. So there are leisure fountains, fountains at City Square, then drinking water fountains. So we are going to pick up the lesser known facet, which is namely Piao. So as you see, we just highlighted. So these are, so from the same canvas, these are, you may have noticed them. You may have come across this structures, but maybe you tend to neglect them or you tend to overlook them. That's the interesting facet. So this is an effort to have highlight and bring to your notice this beautiful, interesting facet called piaus or drinking water fountains, which dot the city from south to north as the city grew, and mainly concentrating on the island city, because actually, if you see this Mumbai city from its initial stages has been on the move, and there is a dire need of drinking water in public places. So you would ask this question that why the cows are more concentrated in the city. The simple answer would be that it is a necessity of the city to have these water spots. And if you go beyond the city limits in those times, when we call it island city, in the suburbs you had wells, so there were no need of piaus there. So we see the concentration of the piaus mainly in Mumbai city. Next. So what is a pyao? Means the word pyao or pyao, whatever how you pronounce it. It has you can't there is no kind of documentation here, but it's more if you it resonates the whole kind the aspect of the germination of the idea seems to be a confluence of the public drinking water fountain, which is a European concept, and then when it dots the city of Mumbai of Bombay, the aspects of charity and memory get confluenced with this architectural edifice, giving rise to beautiful architectural expressions which are very Indian in context, very Indian in their whole visual aspect. So if you therefore I would say that Piao, the word Piao, maybe it is like it must have been pronounced sometime, and then it became a kind of a talk of the town, and it became more of a identity to this architectural expression evolving around water. All these piaos, if you see, they have proper piped water connections or supply, because so it was you would find records in the municipal the references in municipal records also in form of cattle troughs and drinking water facilities, fountains. So it looks like a kind of a initiation from both from the government and then the initiative taken from the public, the private sector. Yes. Next. So let's see how a piav looks. A very just this animation would say that a typical piav, what it comprises of. Yes. Next. Okay. So you have a base, then comes the superstructure. Then you have the water bowls. So those water bowls which you see here mainly are, and the spouts are main for the people, for the humans. And the animal trough or the cattle trough, which is common known, these are meant for animals, for for the horses, drawing the Victoria, or the cows or bulls, or all this domestic animals which were integral part of the whole urban fabric of the city. And then you have the commemorative plaque which says which depicts the in which memory, whose memory this piav has been built, or who has given the fire funds for it. It is inaugurated by hands of whom, some dignitary like the governor, and what kind of funds are given by someone like if it has been Kawaji Jangir or many other dignitaries. So those are the plaques. Mainly they are bilingual. Sometimes most of the languages which you see are in English and Gujarati and even Hindi sometimes. Most probably it is English and Gujarati. And then you have this kapolas or the chhatris or those shrines which are the finials which cap the whole structure. So so I have tried to break that structure and show you how it comprises, and this is a kind of expression it give it showcases itself. So let's see the whole variety of the scale and size of this piaus. Yes. So if you see, go around, I'm sure slowly when I showing the images, many of you who may have seen this, because I think many of my friends also must be in the audience today, but who are really seeing this, experiencing for the first time, I'm sure you must have seen this dotting the city roads. So the scale and size varies from just a small 5 feet or 6 feet pedestal, which is just 1 meter by 1 meter or 2 meter by 2 meter in plan, and then slowly it rises up to a scale which is almost like 20-25 feet high canopied structure, which looks like a temple. So that's the scale and variety which the Piao in showcases itself or presents itself in the city. So really, actually, it really creates a kind of a, even though they are not in designed in a specific style, there's no architectural style, or there's no proper there's no architect who has, there are no names of that, okay, this architect had designed. But I think it buys the, or tries to complement the city, which was the city architecture, in terms of using the same elements and the same material. Because when you see the materials also used, those are the Malad stone or the Kurla stone, the Porbandar stone, the Agra stone, which are all these materials used in the city. So I'm trying to put forward very less technical aspects and make it more interesting and put forward a more pictorial aspect. But it's a very interesting thing that, so whenever you now visit the city, of course, now as they are getting restored, you would actually see them. But even though if you spot some kind of a pedestal and you see a bowl kind of, basin kind of thing, be assured you're coming across a pyao. Next. I hope I am audible properly. So these are the pyau's are, as I said, they are meant for the city. There's no discrimination, and very beautifully they are planned with proper segregation for both the animals and the people.
Rishikesh.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, there was some interruption. Should I continue?
Yes,
Okay,
please
fine.
continue. Please continue.
Oh, okay. So these are few illustrations which you would see that how those pyau's would be used. As we know that in those times, mostly the water would be flowing, that because mainly aspect would be through the gravitational aspect, the water was flowing. Today, of course, when we are restoring, we have to take measures of having proper water storage and allow the water dispensing. But, in those times, how the people would be using them while going along, or maybe how the animals would be using it, how people would be sitting. So these are the kind of, undeclared cultural spaces which evolve around the water spots through the architecture. So that is a very interesting aspect. Next. And you see them placed very strategically and very aesthetically along the city at garden squares, or crossroads of two roads, or maybe along the footpaths, along the tram routes, in public spaces, grounds, playgrounds. So lot of the whole city must have been dotted with all these water places. This photo is part of a picture postcard which shows the Dada Titi circle or the Khodadat circle, where you have the Shankar Shet flyover now going along this. You won't be able to imagine this, but see how beautifully it was, the whole tram terminus which used to be, therefore it is called Dada Titi. And then you have this pyao which is located. Unfortunately, you don't have this pyao, it got demolished. But you could see this in many documentaries. If you see on the YouTube, you happen to see old documentaries, you can spot this pyao also. It is almost like a similar one now is in Maheshwari Udyan or King Circle. So you can see the pattern at every circle you had this pyau's. Yes, next. So now if you see those red spots, and these are what you have them today. If you go into the municipal records, there are many pyau's which have been demolished, or they have been, they have disappeared in the whole urbanization, out of sheer neglect or sheer no kind of policy coming out. Because, when I every time say, when the tap water came into the households of Mumbai, slowly the public space, this public architecture receded. So maybe then it started, and water supply also became very, scarce. So maybe till the mid 60s it was there. Afterwards it slowly they started becoming redundant, and they were they were kind of cast away heritage. So these are pyau's which we have which have been located and which still dot the city. And from this, what is being revived or conserved is a beautiful heritage circuit of almost 30 odd pyaus, which we are trying with along which I am trying to restore along with the Mumbai Corporation. So this is just, if you see from south, the single dot which you see at, it is at Kulaba Observatory, and the single dot which you see in the north at Bandra, that is near the St. Andrew Church. So in between, you can see how the pyaus, line up along mainly the main road and main tram routes. You can see the concentration more into that area which you would call Fort or Girgaon, in that place. Yeah, next. So it's I term it as beauty in diversity. So in fact, even if I just scroll this, I will not have to speak. The pyaus will speak for themselves. But just to have a background commentary, as I told you that how they rise with scale and size. You see this. This is this pyao which you see, and see the variety in material. So I would request you to sparely enjoy this, seeing the material used, see the architectural expression and the size. So all these sizes which you see are almost like ranging between around about 5 feet to 6 feet, which are mainly used as human pyaus or people pyaus, I would say. But the expression is varied. You have this bowl, small water, the bowls which collect the water, and then you have this the fourth one which has a kind of a trough which is going around the pedestal, and then you have the small inscriptions written on that. Next. Just Vinita, you just scroll through it, pause a little, and then go to the next slide, so that the whole flow can be there for. Yeah, Minta, you can go to the next one. Yeah. So slowly it rises, and see the shape which it is taken up. So this is almost like 8 feet tall. Yeah. Then you have this canopied structures. So if you see the railway track going. This is at Ray Road. Or you see this beautiful kind of neoclassical, or I don't want to say that it is in a typical kind of architectural style. It has Gothic expressions, neoclassical expressions, the pilasters. If you see the materials which are used. Yes, next. Yeah. So slowly they become more expressive in architecture. Just go back. Just go. Let them see that. Just go one slide back. Yeah. If you see, you see a kind of a spire which could be. It takes expression from maybe the church spires, or you see that whole kind of more of lot of Saracenic architecture elements which you see in that, the cupolas, the minarets, or the arches, or then you have these shrines which look like temple shrines, Hindu temple shrines, which dot the pyao. Or then again you have this small this lone one is very interesting. That's a cast that I think we came across, the only cast and kind of pyao which is there in the opposite to GST Bhavan. Now it finds itself in a traffic island. Okay. So this is the kind of varied expression which you see. Next, please. And then you have this huge kind of structures. Just go behind one sec. Yeah. So these are like they make their own statement. You have this canopied structure which is the Keshavji Naik fountain, or the central one. This photo, there are few photos which are archival today. You don't see this. So this photo is from Dr. Varsha Shirgaokar's book, which you see. If you see this pyao today, it is in a very dire state. But fortunately, you have the whole structure intact, so it is going to be restored. Or then you have this pyao which is called Mankor Bai at the Horniman Circle. So, but see the whole the variation, but yet it makes a statement. So I'm sure the one which the honeymoon circle commonly it must have been seen because it is quite expressive and at a very common in the center area of fort. But these two are very lesser known, even though they make a statement in that locality. The one which is in the center is called Do Taki because Don Taki. It is in the vicinity of a police station today. And the one which you have this we'll see this case study. I'll be showing the case study of this Keshav Naik fountain, which is the pioneering conservation effort, which was a very successful effort. So it's a clock tower and a canopy of water fountain, both, and a resting place. Yeah, so I've just shown you the canvas, the whole variety, the beauty in diversity which the Piao expresses itself. I'm sure it must have been overwhelming. Now let's try to take a virtual walk. I'm going to take this opportunity to have this walk. We have selected very few piaus, which would give you the feel of how they are dotting the roads. And interesting facet is that we will be seeing a piao which is not existing also. So I'm taking this opportunity because it's a virtual piao. We can see one piao very intangibly. So we'll be experiencing the piao tangibly and intangibly. So let's see what piaos we are going to see this in the city today. Yes, please. So the first one which we'll see is the Devidas Parvudas Kothari Piao opposite to GPO. Then we would go, second one would be the Kawaji Jahangir Fountain at Dhobi Talao, which is opposite to the Kyani Bakery. The third one would be again the Kawaji Jahangir Fountain in Crawford Market. Crawford Market has totally two piaos and one fountain. But today we'll be seeing only one piao. Then you have this fountain, Kawaji Jahangir Fountain at Mazgaon. Then the group of piaos in Veer Jizabai Udyan at Bhaikala, commonly known as the Rani Bagh. Then Fardunji Jijibhai Piao opposite to Bharat Mata. This is the intangible. We don't have this today. You don't find this because it was demolished. But I am taking this opportunity to show it to you today. What we have lost also. So then you have the Indira Bai Sahasrabuddhe Piao at Kotwal Udyan opposite to Plaza Cinema at Dadar West. And then we will be seeing two twin brothers. One is Guliton, or it is half cut, which is opposite to the Sena Bhavan at Koinur Junction. And the other one which is standing there to be restored on the footpath along the Cadell Road or Veer Savarkar Marg. Experience, will try to, see experience them. Yes, of course there is no comparison to the actual experience, but I think in the near future we can have a piao tour again, but today let's have a virtual one. So let's start with the first one. Now we are at let's say we have alighted at Victoria Terminus in yesterday at Bombay. Today we know it as CSMT. And let's walk. So this is just we all just a kind of an indication we have made. We have the mask on also because it is yet a pandemic situation, and we walk towards the Piao location, which is opposite to GPO. So when you stand your back with your back to GPO, you will come across this Piao and a Kabutar Khana. Let's have the images, please. So this is what you would see when you stand. This is now a restored one. So it was restored very successful in 2000, early 2019. It's the earlier part of the 18th century. Sorry, the 20th century, 1923. Yes, let's see the images. So this is a tip. The whole composition of it's a piao with a Kabutar Khana abutting it on the southern side. So it's very beautifully segregated that there used to be a Kabutar Khana and again there used to be a piao with a water spout the water bowl and a spout for the people to drink. Today you have a tree grown out of it. When you see the dire state it was and how it got restored, you will be very surprised. Yeah, show the archival image. There are very less archival images which we come across of the Piaus. This one was shared by my senior friend architect Harshad Bhatia from some other collection, but but it gave a lot of insights to restore it. But see the whole expression, what it shows, and this is the plaque showing commemorating the erection of the Piau. Uh, uh, so this Kothari family is quite, means you have one more Kothari Piau opposite to the metro. It is the two shrines which you must have seen in that whole Piau showed. To see the expression, the next one, so we can see the photos nearby. Yeah. So this is how it presents. So you have beautiful, friezes, decorative friezes. Then you have this bowl, the line spout coming out. And today you can drink water from this. Unfortunately, in the pandemic situation, the lack of maintenance, it needs to be cleaned. But this is a working payout today through a successful rest conservation exercise. And on the top there is a water tank. There used to be a water tank. Now we have a more proper water tank installed again. But I want you to see those beautiful, decorative elements, the brackets, the minarets, and the friezes, the bowl. They are they are very Indian, rather more Saracenic elements. And no, there's nothing written document, but they are in front of GPO. And if you see, they really reflect the whole ethos of GPO architecture also, the architecture used in the GPO edifice. So these are just observations. I mean, but there is a lot of connection. So don't miss this whenever you go to CSMT, whoever has seen it. And when you go there, this installation will welcome you. This is an installation again we did as a testimony to another intangible heritage, which was a system called the gas lighter, the lamp lighters. There used to be gas lamps, and we found a pedestal there which had a gas lamp. So we thought that let's have this also installed, which complements another heritage. So you have a sculpture, because it is done out of sculpture. This is the whole sculpture of a person lighting the lamp. If you see in the photographs. So this is how it has come out today. It is today used to some extent. It is used, but and interestingly, next, go ahead. Yeah, so this is before and after. Now you can see before restoration how it was and afterwards how it is today. Next. So you had this unauthorized structure, which they called a shrine, unfortunately, and how after it was taken off, it has totally, created this very interesting cultural space, which I it as a pause space, cultural pause space. Next. And this is one of the pioneering in the city, one of the heritage structures, the first heritage structures where a QR code was installed it's kind of digitizing heritage. So it actually allows a lot of information to be dispensed through this QR code, which is set. The Mumbai Corporation is in process of creating its own archives also. So slowly information would be dispensed to this QR code. Today we have a Facebook dedicated to this Piau, called a Mumbai Piau project, where you could find different interesting facets. And this is during the inauguration. The respected mayor of Mumbai and Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, he was so it was, and see how, means this is just how the people react when it gets inaugurated. You have this, pomp and glory. So the Piau gets its due recognition. Okay, so we have started the journey with this successful restored Piau, and let's now walk along the Mahapalika road So now let's walk along the Mahapela crossover from the Nagar Chowk or the CSMT Chowk and walk towards Mahapelaka Road and come to this very small pyao which is tucked in a corner opposite to Kyani Bakery. I'm sure you may have noticed it or you may not have noticed it. So in front of this, you have this statue which you saw previously. So therefore, it's very difficult to notice it. But now I'm sure you will notice it. So this is the Pyao. So Sir Kawaji Jahangir Fountain. Again, 1865, you can see mid 19th century. Uh, now the material used is very interesting. This is granite, and see this is the documented drawing which is part of the conservation efforts, and etching which is done. In fact, that also fascinates me. The type of etching or engraving which is done, that is also very interesting. In fact, why does heritage have to be only of the structures? We should actually document and try to see the insights in terms of how the engraving also was done. It gives us a lot of insights. Okay, so all these ornate features are there, and see the expression. It's very simple, utilitarian actually, but still it has its own grace. Okay, so imagine someone I'm sure means when the Ken Bakery that's the was there, and then you have this city square, the Metro Cinema, and then this water, the two fountains dotted, one on the northern side, on the southern side, and then you had a one more interesting fountain which was there. Today it is getting restored again by the corporation. So just imagine how fountains had dotted the city. Yeah, next. So quickly, it was a smart. So we just took a mouthful of water now. I think let's quenched our thirst. Now let's go walk along the Crawford Market, and which is known as Lokmanya Tilak Road, and land up at the yesteryear Crawford Market, today known as Mahatma Phule Mandai. And let's enter the below the mural which I showed you in the first slide, and then this Piao greets you. Did you know this is a Piao? Maybe people won't know because it's not in a working condition, unfortunately today. That effort needs to be done. But see, it stands very gracefully, even though in a very not maintained also, but it stands it gracefully and invites you. So how does it look? Let's have a look. It's a very interesting. There's an interesting connection also overseas here. So again, Kawaji Jahangir. You can see Kawaji Jahangir becomes a kind of a dada who has donated a lot of flowers to the city. Yeah. Let's have the images, Vinita. So here, if you see as the images come, yeah. So this is an interesting coincidence, a historic coincidence. At that, just go behind. Let everyone experience first. Then we can see the details. Come to the first slide again. Yeah. So you see the similar kind of expression. It is a little different, but Kawaji Jahangir also donated one at London. Again, this image is from the book of by Dr. Basha Shirgaonkar. That has been a pioneering effort from where all these conservation efforts, that has been a backbone. The book has been a backbone as an archival material for the conservation efforts which we are doing today. So I would really thank Dr. Basha Shirgaonkar for that. But this coincidence actually gives us a lot of, we should be proud that Kawaji Jahangir has donated a fountain in London. And surprisingly, I think I was able to get a photo of this, which I showed in a very previous slide in the whole kind, today, it means 2019, one of my friend, she was in London, she came across, she just shared this fountains. People, many friends overseas now share a lot of fountains which are in Europe, and now it has struck me that I'm trying to see the comparisons now. But yes, this is something to be proud of. Yeah, let's see the Piao closely. So if you go around the Piao, you could see the architectural expressions very closely. Yes, Vinita, images please. Yeah, okay. So if you see the water bowls, there are three water bowls which are, this is a unique thing that these are mainly meant for the humans, but the water bowls are three. Normally you have two, and because of that whole shape, it is very beautifully created like a city square in the Crawford Market. Just imagine when the market was bustling. In today also, if you see this long shot, it really makes a mark. So it has its own place in the market. And see the expression. I don't have to say much. You need to just enjoy today. Just imagine if the water was flowing continuously, people are drinking. Today also it could be done. It has to be done. In fact, I would say maybe even though if it doesn't have to be only for the drinking water facility, but still it could be a testimony to the fountain. It was. Yes, let's go ahead. We don't have to stop. We are on a walk, virtual walk. Okay. So now this interesting Pyao at Mazgar again. Wow, Kawashi Jahangir again, I think. Yes. So let's walk over. This is a little long walk. Maybe even though maybe we could take a vehicle, but today we are just walking over. So let's quickly go over and land up in front of today what we know as, I think, the GST Bhavan. Yes. Okay, so this is the traffic island. We have done this map just to show you how it is placed. And you would see this popping out today if you just glance over. This is a cast iron kind of, bollard kind of thing. But what is it exactly? Let's have the images. So this is what it is. So if you see those lion heads, which were water spouts, and there's a beautiful story. It's like, it reminds me of that Jack and Jill song. So it's nothing to laugh. Mr. Henry lost his life when, I don't know, but this is what the story or the records say, that he fell down from his buggy. And at that particular spot, Mr. Kawaji Jahangir donated this pyao, which was a very noble deed way back in 1860s. And the uniqueness is the material used. It is in cast iron. So it's like once upon a pyao, what I say every time. It's like a story. Every pyao has a different tale, a different story to narrate. So that is very interesting. So just a closer look, and we have tried to document it. So as part of the documentation or conservation efforts. So this is a very unique pyao, very interesting. I like it, very cute one. Yeah, let's go ahead. So now, way ahead, we go to the Rani Bagh or the Victoria Gardens. There we have a couple of pyaos, so we can, the shade, the green shade. We walk along, and experience the pyaos. Yes. So let's enter the Victoria Gardens or the Rani Bagh. And there we have two big pyaos, which are Adir Sher, Dadi Sher pyao, which are quite twin brothers. And then there is this one which is tucked in the garden, which has found itself. It was somewhere else, and now it is there as a kind of orphanage. And then the Khimji Mulji pyao, which is a very, I like this pyao because it is very simple, but it is very, it expresses itself very effectively. So I'm happy to say that the conservation work of all these four pyaos is now, and means it will be started in a few months now, and maybe by end of 2021, you will be able to drink water from these pyaos. So today, just you experience them visually. We will be seeing two pyaos, just the details of only two pyaos, just as a representation. Next. So when you enter, just I'll tell you, when you enter the Jizamata Udyan, first on your left hand side, in line with the conservatory, you would find this pyao, which is we'll come across this. And a similar one, when you go ahead and you go to the Veer Jijabai statue and Bal Shivaji statue on the southern side, you have a similar Pyao there. So next time when you go to the Victoria Jijamata, do try to see this beautiful. And I'm showing you an interesting facet that so we climb up a ladder and then we can peep in and see this old cast iron tank which used to store the water and dispense the water. This is a scheme which I'm sure we are showing as part of the conservation thing. So I thought we'll show that also. So we have the information plaque and the tank you can see and how it is going to be, the kind of architectural expression to create that city square or a resting place around it. Next. So again, if you see these elements, again you have these brackets, chhajjas, arches, or these bowls. If you see, so the you see this kind of assembly of typical elements with some changes here and there, but therefore that doesn't mean that it has a common style. It has a typology where it is more of a street furniture but done very aesthetically, and that is what I think today we are missing. Aesthetics in public architecture means in fact even a grating or a manhole cover would also in those years would have some ornate features which allow which could actually add to the whole value of the street furniture. So that is, I think, reinstating such elements actually adds to the whole uh, uh, aesthetics of the urban architecture. Okay, so let's go ahead and where is this Pyao? Yes, show the location. Fardunji Jijibhai Pyao. Okay, so this is dear friends. Let's shed some tears for this old Pyao which got demolished out of sheer neglect in on 12th December 2010. So I thought as it is a virtual tour, we could experience it. So we walk along the main road, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Road, and we come opposite to Bharat Mata Talkies. And there where you have this panel, so you have the monorail going above. There used to be a Pyao. See the scale when I show the photos. Yes, please show the photos. So I know being winter, maybe you will be less exhausted, but it is worth having this walk. So this is how the Pyao used to look. Round about almost like in length, it was not less than maybe 15 feet or 20 feet, and in height, it was almost like 10 feet in height or 8 feet in height. Unfortunately, we don't have this today. It got demolished. But this was just a good opportunity to share these photos. Fortunately, I had documented this for restoring another Pyao, which is in process. It was like a twin brother. So I'll be showing that afterwards as part of the conservation scheme. The only thing different was this is the material. This was in black basaltic stone, and the one which we are restoring, it was in Malad stone. It is in Malad stone. But today also I feel very bad, very sorry. It's like we are missing this. Yes, we go ahead. I think yes. You yes, Vinita, we can move along. We can build, but more than that, I think we need to restore the ones which are there, and we could remember this tangibly at least. Intangibly, sorry, sorry for my words. Yeah. So now we come to Khodada Circle, and again we can shed some tears for the Pyao which is not there at Khodada Circle today. or Dadar TT. And then we cross over Tilak Bridge and land in front of Plaza, where you have the Kotwal Udyan. And in Kotwal Udyan, we have a very interesting Pyao, which is also which totally is a very different architectural expression. Yeah. So again, we are in the garden, so you could stand in some shade and experience the Pyao. So this is the Pyao. So you see, don't see sorry, what happened? Vinita? I think just to give me 2 minutes. Yeah, it's starting. Sorry for the interruption. Now only 2 Pyaos are remaining.
Rahul sir, are you able to
Yes,
see the
Vinita.
presentation now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. You go to the slide. Yes. Just go one slide previous, one behind, because go back one slide. Vinita? Yeah, after that. Yeah. So you can see how it is flanking itself and resting just very peacefully in this Kotwal Udyan. Not noticed by, I think, many. Don't go by the grayish blue color that is painted. Mostly it is Malad stone. So this, of course, all this what I'm sharing slowly in a year or two, you will be seeing the actual Pyaos getting restored. But today, let's just enjoy whatever we have today. So if you see, just go ahead for the details. So this is a documented drawing. Again, you see you have the bowl in front, and then you have the commemorative plaques. And what fascinates me, or what actually I really respect those craftsmen, unknown craftsmen, and those philanthropic efforts, that to drink water is like a celebration through these pyaus. So that adds to the whole aesthetics in public life. So that is what we will be gaining again through by, as I say, conserving or restoring the tangible heritage. We will be reviving the intangible heritage of drinking water also, and create a kind of a cultural pause space. So again, lot of Indian elements, the blooming lotus, etc. All this coming together. So now we are going to see twin brothers, one cut off and both are going to be restored. But first, let's go along and come in front of Sena Bhavan. There, as we know, show the location, please. There used to be the Kohinoor mill. Yeah. So the location here is very strategic in front of Sena Bhavan. There used to be the Kohinoor mill, which now has been replaced by the Kohinoor Square. The whole cultural aspect has changed. But the presence of a Pyao is a testimony that there was a mill today. So therefore, it is very important that the Pyao has to be there to in remembrance of this whole cultural heritage of textile mills. So the state in it is in a very dire state, but definitely it is going to be revived and restored. Just let's have the images, please. Yeah, this is the state in which today you find a Pyao and a documented drawing and a location. You can see now, you can understand the location. You must have seen it today. I can see my good old friend Rajendra Aklekar standing behind that photo when we are researching. And but sometimes it gives you insight. So this broken Pyao has given us insight that how it was, it was built. So this has helped us to actually plan our restoration also. So the Pyao itself is telling us how to restore itself. So there were a lot of options available. Now what we have decided, we will put this there only. There were options that we would shift it to Shivaji Park, but I think it's more important we have the associational value there. Even though it may not dispense water, but it could be testimony that it was meant for the textile mills. But we have a twin brother at Shivaji Park, which is going to be restored in a very beautiful way. Let's see that. So now we walk towards Shivaji Park, and on the western side of Shivaji Park, where you have opposite to the Veer Savarkar Smarak. Yeah, let's see the images. So you're taking a little walk along this Shivaji Park. It's taking time. Yeah. So now you can see that. So how that Kohinoor Square Piao must have looked is the same. And this is Mr. Ramji Setiba who has donated this. So you have another Ramji Setiba outside the CSMBS or the Prince of Wales Museum, tucked now besides the Sulabh Sauchalay. That also is getting restored, but it will be shifted a little along the pathway now in front of Lion Gate. But coming back to this, so this is how the very cute Piao. In fact, we actually celebrated this Piao a few years ago. We drew a rangoli around it just to have during the Diwali. I think we'll show it afterwards. But this is a very simple expression. You have the moldings, again the bowl. Now I think you guys must be familiar to all these elements, so I don't have to tell. So do try to when you go to Shivaji Park, try to visit it. You will try to just say hello to this good old Piao. Yeah, let's see the. So we are doing what we are planning here is with the Mumbai Corporation to create such a space around it, and it's not eating into the ground. There is a proper space around it. So the idea we just this is the architectural expression, this artist expression that how this can be created around the Piao. So quickly, I think so. I'm sure you must have got a very different feel walking along the city streets. We started from CSMT, the Victoria Terminus, and then walking along Ambedkar Road, we came to Dadar. So Dadar is central. So today we stopped this tour here, but definitely I think there are many Piaos, east, west, north, south. I'm sure you guys can start going and seeing that. I'll just show you one case study just to get a feel at how the restoration is a very interesting experience. Yes. So this is called the Keshavji Naik. So before that, just a few insights. What are the factors which define the conservation or the restoration? The evolution of the Piaos, then the documentation is the architecture documentation drawings, then even the historic documentation of what or the social cultural details of what is the patronage pattern, the associational values. So as we see, the Kabaji Jahangir name comes forth as I say, the Dada of this philanthropic effort. Then you have Ramji Setiba, someone like that, or then Keshavji Naik is like a bigger Dada actually, because this is the same Keshavji Naik, whose chawl is famous. Chawl is famous for the first Sarvajanik Ganesh Utsav started in Mumbai after Lokmanya Tilak started in Pune. So this is the same person. Or then you have the architectural expression, and importantly the site locale to determine how today you can reinstate the cultural value by creating the space around it, and then studying the water engineering systems. As you must have seen, there are varied kind of water house, water troughs, how they are interconnected, how today you could have the water connections, how there could be water storage system around it. All these things go into the conservation factors beyond which the Piao conservation is based on. It's a team effort, even though the ideas come popping in my head, but it's quite a very multidisciplinary team which works on this. along with the support of the Mumbai Corporation Heritage Cell. Yeah. So let's come to this. If you have, if you alight from Masjid Bandar and not Masjid Bandar, Masjid Bandar Harbour Station, as we know, it is the name is Masjid Bandar based on the synagogue which is there at Mandavi. So you get down and walk over to Bhat Bazar. Bhat Bazar is, so there are Dana Bazar, Bhat Bazar, Katha Bazar, Khari Bazar, etc., etc. So this area is called Bhat Bazar. In that you have this two roads which create a V, and there stands this chhatri or this canopy, which is colloquially known, the Fawara. If you go there and you ask where is the fountain, no one will tell you. But if you are Fawara kahan pe, so they lovingly call it Fawara. So let's have the images. Just 1 second. Sorry, there was a disturbance behind. Okay, so this is the plaque. As I told you, there's one in English and Gujarati. So this was inaugurated at the hands of the governor, and in 1876, I think one of the earliest pyavs, if I would say, and very significant. So next, please. So these were the state in which we came across. I won't go into details how it was approached, all this, but the trust which actually to which Keshavji Naik belongs, that trust has a derasat in the vicinity of this Pyav or fountain, and they took the initiative. So this was the first example of the public-private funding given to the restoration, and a pioneering conservation effort which was successful. But this was the state when I approached the Pyav. It was like a jungle book Pyav, a tree growing out of it, and that sky blue color had become a kind of the identity. No one knew what was hidden behind it. काय दडलंय त्याच्या मागे कळतच नव्हतं ते त्याच्यात. So you can see, let's go to the drawing, Vinita, so we can show the structure. So you had a chai ka tapri, a person living in that clock not happening. In fact, I would say more than encouraging, the people were actually utilizing it in their own way. But this was the plan. This is the design. How, see the whole beautiful composition. This blue color, kind of, what you see are the cattle troughs or meant for the animals. And if you see the octagon, it's an octagonal kind of structure where at four corners you have the pedestals where there is to be earthen pot. Now here you don't have a kind of kind of a gargoyle kind of a spout from which you drink water. Here there is a cast iron tank in the vicinity from where the water supply is to go beneath the whole pedestal, and in the center you see the circle. From there water collected, and then earthen pots were filled with water and kept on these pedestals, four pedestals, and people used to come there, sit there. They would chit chat and drink water. Parallelly, the cattle or the domestic animals would actually drink water from the cattle troughs. So this was the way it is planned, and the whole expression here is like a shrine. So you have and here now the European orders confluence with the Indian or the Hindu architecture elements. So you have the Gujarat style brackets, the chhajjas, the Orison kind of shrine which rises up with elephant and peacock motifs, and then alternately you have the clock panels, and below you have those pilasters in red agra along the Malad stone structure, which stands on the Kurla stone pedestal. I just try to explain it in a very quick way. And then you have this flight of steps which are adorned by step guards which have those Nandi motifs. You can see that afterwards when you see the photographs. This is the expression. Yeah, next please. So this is what how we just glimpse of how the conservation was, restoration was done in a very busy area. So we had to quarantine this, and the work was very meticulous. Means from micro to macro level, the whole shrine had to be dismantled to take out the roots, the tree roots. Then you had the lime also was prepared in a water troughs, and then meticulous, very that scrapping about the color. The colors of almost like I think 20 layers of color we had taken off to expose that beautiful composition of red agra, malad stone, which is yellow ochre, and kurla stone, which is bluish black or grayish, and then the lime, the Porbandar stone, which is in lime white. So that was a beautiful expression which came out. And the people who when the trust approached me, they said कि राहुल भाई इसको क्या कर रहे हैं, हमको मार्बल में करे क्या? मुझे नहीं नहीं मार्बल में नहीं करे और कर भी नहीं सकते आप, but give me Allah. I showed them because I knew that something is there beneath these layers, and when they saw that, they were like, this is something we would. Yeah, next. Vinita, next please. Sorry for the interruptions. I think net connections have their own weird way. So while the case studies come in front, as I say that this has been today. This is the first time I have done a virtual kind. I have tried this virtual tour. So that was an experience for me also. Sorry. So this is before and after, now and then. So how it was and how we achieved it. So we can see the difference, how it came out of, and it stands very elegantly today. You can see those Nandi motifs flanking the stairs. Sorry. Yeah. Next. I have taken a lot of, I think many of the friends today, they must have come along with me because I have conducted a lot of heritage walks here along in this area. Yeah, Vinita, the next slide, please. Yeah, so a little insights of how this whole restoration came. And can you just wonder, maybe you can ask this question, why this peacock and elephant motifs? There's no documentation. But I think, sometimes the imaginations can fly. Water being a central idea, I think the peacock, isn't it a celebration of water? And elephant is maybe a symbol of elegance and power, or maybe authority, which Keshavji Naik had. Maybe this is just my imagination, but I like to imagine. Or maybe the elephant represents the Hasta Nakshatra, which is related to water, the last shower, the heavy showers of the rain. But I think whatever be there, more important is that it is there for you to. It's like a painter's work. You can see it and you can enjoy. You can you can create your own kind of imagination and enjoy it along while drinking the water. Yes. So Mr. Keshavji Naik also found his original character again, which was multicolored cinema से yesteryear black and white में चले गए थे उसमें, the sepia tone. They wanted us to put his eyes, colored his eyes. So, but I said no, he will not like that. So we were very stubborn about it. This is just a small thing, how those got restored. I think these Nandi motifs also add to the sanctity of the structure. So people there, even though they respect it. And today, after reviving this, I am very proud to say these are just aerial views to show you the location, that how strategically it stands today. After restoration, we even installed a new plaque, which I'll show you. These are some, when it got inaugurated at the hands of then senior, then CM, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis. So it was a red carpet, ribbon, etc., etc., and people were lined up to drink water. And it didn't stop there. Today, people drink free water here. At least maybe not to mention, I think maybe 30 to at least 50 people maybe 3 hours drinking free water. So when I installed this plug, I thought we should add our own kind of expression. So we put this quote: "Die thirst repose to quench handful of life," like a kind of a Shakespearean quote to say that okay, I'm standing here to quench your thirst. I think whoever comes there who is very poor may get can like enjoy this poetic expression and drink water. So when you go there, that person he will saab jal le lo. That he gives into that lota, that tambe ka lota. It's very really gives. It's like giving respect to that uh, act of drinking water. This was just an insight of how what involves the conservation effort. I'm sure you also must be. It's not merely a drinking water facility. And what today, what we are going to do now again, this was the phase one. We are again now going to add more flavors to this. This is part of the conservation scheme phase two, that we are going to have a proper railing around it and the installation again here. So the successful installation, art installation at Kothari was another, and here we would have a kind of a cattle show, the cattle trough to show. So don't be surprised to see these sculptures here in a few years. So this was one exercise I thought I'll share. Another one, I'll just give you a glimpse that what is proposed. Yes, next please. So this is another Pyao, which is called a Vitthal Koi Pyao at Gokhale Road at Dadar, which the images are coming in front. Yes, Vinita. What happened? Vinita got stuck. I'm very sorry for those slide interruptions. I hope you pardon us for that.
Please don't ask for pardon, sir. With tech, we have to live with all these small things.
Okay. So this is another Pyao, which is near Dadar in Dadar East. So we have been documenting this from 2008 onwards, just to keep tab on this, that it doesn't get demolished the way one got at Bharat Mata. And today now it is getting tendered success, and that restoration also will start. So I'll just show you the scheme which we have planned, so you can understand how it can get transformed. You can have a look now how it looks today. They looked just 10 years ago. Now the structure behind it has been demolished. The Pyao still stands. Behind it was the Dhandu pharmaceutical company, that also got demolished. Today you have I think a municipal kind of uh, installation there. Okay, so these are this is how the state the Pyao looks today in its dire state. As you see the expression again, you have the capolas, then the water bowls. In fact, the show the typology of the Pyao is the same Pyao example which you had done. So the animation would remind you of this Pyao. And how we are going to restore it is like the one which you'll see now. This is a space which will be created with a mural behind it, and the Pyao, of course, in action, because this year successfully the drinking water facility can happen, because you can have a water storage and all these things, but this will be developed into a public space. People can sit there, so they can, that it becomes a landmark cultural space, public space. Yeah. So just a few insights. I will end with this kind of how you engage with the Pyaos, which I have tried myself, and along with so how it could relate with the to the city. Yes. So this is the juxtaposition which in the urban context. Today we see this commercial commodity. It's like a commercial commodity today. You have this water ATMs at the railway station, but they are devoid of the aesthetics. And we have the piaus which are kind of water charity, which are full of aesthetics. You decide which is welcoming. And can we take insights from this piaus and maybe add some aesthetics to the public architecture or the public kind of expression which we have today? This is a question which we should ask ourselves. So as I have tried to put forward these points, so tangible identity to the intangible of, say, as I said, that celebrating the very act of drinking water, going beyond that mere purpose of quenching the thirst, and maybe water becomes a social connect through the architectural expression, namely the piao. As we know, water doesn't have any form. It is or color or shape, but the architectural edifice would become the marker for that activity. As water has an ability to create nostalgia. It could be nostalgia, creating these pause spaces, and stories could be narrated around this piao when people come to quench their thirst with that small time which they spend there. I think that would add value to their life with social interactions. Of course, today we have taken a pause from that also, but I think that's just a passing phase. Therefore, I think that is what I say. The piao transcends into a broad cultural heritage instead of merely being a water dispenser. It becomes a historic and cultural marker as a cultural oasis in the urban landscape. Yeah, next. So these are some creative expressions which I try to do when I am on site, or so this the right hand one was used for a Diwali greeting by me, which people must be remembering. And these are some sketches which are on-site sketches which I done, and then used for different kind of usages like greeting cards or bookmarks, etc., etc., just to create that awareness and connect it with the people. Yeah, next. So wherever I find this opportunity, I try to promote and propagate this. So this was the entry for kind of a architectural. It was a competition that how take one element in the urban fabric and then how you can create spaces around it. So this we try to put this forward, that how if you have the piao at center and how this whole area can be developed into a cultural space. Just to with imaginations, what can happen, what people would do reading newspaper or sitting chit chatting, not only drinking water. And then they could even the tourist also. So when the tourist move along the city, how many spaces are there today? Just museums and art galleries and big edifices won't, I think, won't suffice. I think such small street furnitures also would create that whole kind of cultural activity which because so piaos, I would say, have the ability to become the hallmark or the identity of Mumbai city through this heritage circuit which is getting revived. And you would find me going around with this heritage walks, as we have this beautiful bookmark created. I'm sure in the future we would get chance to physically go, and that time I would we could have more fun the way we had today. And so I every time I end, so this is the rangoli we had done for that good old Ramji Seti Ba Pyao. So as I every time end, I end with this quote by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, that for many years of at great cost, I traveled through many countries, saw the high mountains, the ocean. The only things I did not see were the sparkling dewdrops in the grass just outside my door. I think, are we missing these dewdrops while appreciating the great edifices around us? So this was just a effort to connect with you through the piaus. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you. Vinita, you can stop the presentation. And I would take this opportunity to thank my whole team at Vastuvidhan and my dear old friends who have been with me from the initial stages, like Mr. Rajendra Aklekar, Swapna Doshi, who has worked in the research, and as I told you, Dr. Varsha Shirgavkar, whose book has been a kind of a starting point for all this initial conservation efforts. Thank you. Yes.
So thank you, Mr. Kimburka, for taking us through this wonderful journey. There are a couple of questions. If we can take them very quickly.
Yeah, sure.
And there are many compliments.
Just let everyone have a cup of water first. I think now
Yeah.
it must be exhausted to the tour. Yeah, you can have the questions.
Renu, would you like me to take the question?
Yeah, sure. Take it over.
Okay. Some of the questions are, there's a question from Vispi.
Vinita, you can stop the
Valapolia, and his-
presentation. Yeah.
So Wispy has a question and he's asking what is the exact location of the fountain in London?
Sorry, I'm not aware. I need to know that. If anyone can help me, really, it would be great.
Okay, great. Venkatesh, of course, has told us that it's a great experience doing the walk with you on the ground. And
yeah.
So we are all going to totally look forward to that.
Yes, same here.
And then Akanksha has a question saying, why are there so many pyals in Mumbai? Are pyals a common sighting in other cities as well?
Okay. Why they have pyals in Mumbai, or mainly, as I told, I think she missed that. In Mumbai, the island city, is that mainly it was part of a lot of waterworks. First of all, technically, just to answer it, it was part of all the waterworks which were unique to Mumbai city. As we have the Tulsi water plant, I don't want to get into that. That's a different subject. But that you have a lot of water reservoirs, like one at Malabar Hill, as we know everyone. So this has given way to different kind of, not only drinking water fountains, but other leisure fountains also. There you have a very interesting, a very beautiful fountain in the headquarters also, Mumbai headquarters, municipal headquarters, which is in a working condition. You guys should go and see that.
Wow,
So
that's super interesting.
The utility aspect, as you see, that I told you that the reason is that Mumbai was a city on the move, and the need for water spots was needed, and simply therefore it ends at only the island city. We have only one lone pyao at St. Andrew's Church, surprising at Bandra, which used to be then part of the Sashti land or Salsette Island, but after that in the suburbs you don't find the pyals because simply there were wells. You didn't need pyals there. So that actually brings out another aspect, that the wells also need to be, today they are dying, almost they have died. So they have that ability to, quench the thirst of the water, and we have neglected them.
We also have a question from Sudhir who asks, which agencies are funding restoration, rebuilding of the pyals?
See, the Keshav Jinak fountain was funded by, as I told you, the trust which owned the Derasar, and all the pyals are part of the corporation funding. So they are being funded by the corporation. Till now, whatever conservation which is in process, the Kothari pyal or all this almost like 25 odd pyals which are in the process of restoration, they are funded totally by the corporation.
Okay. There are a lot of people talking about what a wonderful walk down memory lane that was, and how everyone is going to take a look at each of these at the earliest opportunity. Usha has a question for you. Roughly how many kilometers did we walk today?
I think that's a good question. I think maybe we had become Superman because we can't cover this. If you try to cover this, it will take almost the whole day, all this pyao, the distance wise. So I would say, I think 20 odd kilometers if we must have covered, I think. So because if we
Half a
started
marathon.
at Flora Fountain, half a marathon. Yeah. So I told we are supermen today. So 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 we all are Piavis today, I think. We can confirm that. Piao marathon we had, half a marathon.
Actually, that might be a really good idea to do a small Piao marathon.
Yes. Yes, sure, exactly.
And Rama has a question. Is there any reason why lions are so common to so many Piaos?
I don't think. See, that's more of a expression. Again, you need to imagine. But lions have been a very common kind of element used for the water spouts. The simple reason is that the whole the jaw which it opens out, it actually complements. It becomes easy to dispense water. If you see closely the any water spout which is designed in form of a animal head, the main aspect is that technically the water should flow out. And other simple reason is that if you use a cow head, it is pious. So it won't be used in public places. That I think is a very strong thing, that they would be used, the cow head or the gomukh, which we call very colloquially, are meant to be at only pious places like temples. They can't be used at public drinking water spouts. So therefore, I think the lion or that becomes a very common kind of thing which could be used as water spouts.
I think Rama has a very good comment, and she says a string of handy Piaos like this can help get rid of plastic bottle usage. And
Yeah,
I think
actually, I
very
didn't
soon.
mention. Good you remembered. Actually, every time I mentioned it, this is really important. Means, in fact, reviving this payouts would, even if it reduces 5%, it is worth doing it. Means I would go to that extent.
Absolutely.
And
And
just
Shilpa, sorry. Yes.
and just to mention that I think this is in my capacity. I don't want to make this as a official statement, but I think bottled water is a phenomenon which started in the mid 90s. Before that, how we were drinking water, or no one was drinking water in during travels. I think the sources were from the railway taps. Today, I think all these are, to some extent, marketing plays its own role. So why don't we market this? That therefore I showed a juxtaposition that today water becomes a commercial commodity. We have this example of I'm not saying that this didn't have any commercials involved. Maybe philanthropy was a kind of a initiative which was seen as an investment, public investment by those people. So it is a kind of a form of CSR in those times. Today we have CSR. So I think we need to really think that how revival and reinstatement of such public architecture would add value to the whole public life.
Correct.
And therefore restoration and conservation becomes important of this payouts.
Though actually Sanjay has a comment here saying, would it be a very big challenge for the local government authority to have a continuous flow of water within it?
No, already successfully we are done at Kothari Payao. So the only thing is that we have to have a storage water tank. That's it. So today 2 hours water supply could be stored, and if it is going to be used for public, why not?
Great. Shilpa also has a question saying, how many Piaos are there? Any record? And how many left? Are there any rough numbers available for us?
So as I told you today, if you see, almost like if you start counting, maybe or it could go to the maybe 35. But what used to be, if I'm not wrong, it could go beyond 50. So we have lot of payouts which have been lost. And so the simple reason is that because as part of road winding, and the best example I give you of the one opposite to Bharat Mata, it just got demolished. The debris must have been sold off, and even we could have saved plaques. The plaque could have gone to the museum, at least, that okay, this was testimony. Fortunately, I have the photographs. So someone asked that should we rebuild it? I would say that let's not be romantic about it. Why do we rebuild it? Better than that, we could revive the ones which are remaining and use them. But we need to be alert. So answering a question, I think today. So today I think it's in the jurisdiction of Mumbai Corporation, there are almost like 30 PIAOs. Beyond that, I think 10 to 15 more would go. So the count would go to something like 40 to 40 odd PIAOs.
Let's hope they all remain.
I think they would. So the corporation, as I told you, I was successful to put this whole heritage PIAO circuit in front of the corporation, and it is getting revived. So be assured that all these 30 PIAOs which I mentioned are getting restored. They are going to be there in the city.
That is excellent.
And from that, almost like 20, confidently I would say 20 would dispense water for drinking water. Maybe others would, as I said, we do not have to be very romantic about this. They could be just be testimony to the PIAO culture.
Naushir wants to know which is the oldest PIAO in Mumbai and when was it built?
There again, I said that no recorded document, but as I told you, the PIAOs which you see start from mid 19th century. So it's like 1873. So maybe Keshavji Naik fountain of the biggest one could be one of the oldest PIAO, and then Kawaji Jahangir PIAO also becomes oldest because that also is mid 19th century. So that I can say that this when the waterworks started, all these fountains started coming up. So it has to be a little early 19th century or mid 19th century till late 20th century, like 1940 or something. So the Ramji Setiba PIAO is something like 1940s or something like that, and the Kawaji Jahangir PIAOs are as I told you 1890s or something or earlier, and a few more are like 1873, 1870 or 1823, 1923. So that is the period. So, but you can't say that this is the first PIAO which is built. There could be contemporary ones, and many places there are very rare examples. There were wells also. As we know, High Court has a well, but there was a well at Fountain, which I think I'm not wrong. But you have a very interesting drinking water facility, which is very contemporary, only I think 40 years ago or 30 years ago, which is called a Santa Sarovar. I think everyone during my colleges, I have drank water from it. Today also, it is it is well maintained by the corporation. So just behind that Dadabhai Nauroji statue, along that footpath, you have that it's marble. It's well maintained.
And Sanjay wants to know if there's any PIAO in Thane city.
No, Thane didn't have that. Thane was rich with water, so many ponds and lakes. But Thane today, Thanekars means they have to think on that, how the lakes can be revived. So I think having such PIAOs was not a need there. Yes, houses have been, but house also I can see. Here one interesting aspect is that if you see the Indian cities, there are different kind of water dispensing units. So I had gone to Jammu. I saw there are cast iron pedestals which look like fire hydrants. So they are water. They are water drinking water facilities. They call it nalka there. Or then I found a very big pedestal kind of thing on the at Nashik at the banks of Godavari. That was a water. So it is a drinking water fountain. Or in the Pune you have the howdas. Or if you go to North India, I am not very aware, but I think there is to be the surais. So we have, that reminds me, if you go from Pune towards Bangalore, you cross a town called place called Shirwad. When you are crossing Shirwad and when you are going towards Bangalore, try to see on your right hand side, you will come across a kind of a very old structure, which is in big stone, and it's like a canopy, kind of a porch, stone porch, which is a Panpoi. It's like 800 years old. I had numbered the stone because it is, and we are trying to put forward this, so myself and my friend from Deccan College, we gathered a few students and we numbered those stones, and we have estimated the cost also. What is interesting is that there are stone jars inside it, which used to have water, because that was also the Rajmarga in those times, and it could be a tax collection center and a water dispensing unit also. So water dispensing has been a very integral part of the Indian psyche, and moreover, water-free drinking water, giving charity, water charity. So, but it took a different place, shape, I think, when it comes to cities like Mumbai. So the Pyao, which I told you, is very unique to Mumbai. It is Mumbai centric. You won't find a similar expression. There are few ones, I think, if I'm not wrong, in Pune also, in some cantonment area or somewhere, there is one Pyao, if I'm not wrong, a drinking water fountain. Right? The Pyao would be a very colloquial term used in Mumbai, but there's a drinking water fountain in Pune.
Great. I think we've sort of answered all the questions, and Mr. Chembulkar, on behalf of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai and everybody who's attended this talk, thank you so much. You're doing something fantastic, and it is such a pleasure to hear you talk and the passion with which you spoke. And personally also, I remember talking to you about a month and a half back. And since then, I've been cycling all over, especially the one in front of Kohinoor Mills. I just could not find it. Then finally, when I spotted it, I was like, oh, okay. And it's great. I think it's not just about the Pyao, but it's also so much about the city that it makes you discover. Just going and looking for it and reading and looking into the structure and, looking at the small nuances. So thank you so much. I know we'll all be going out and looking for them now. And thank you so much for being a part of this festival on behalf of all of us.
In fact, I would like to thank on behalf of my team that I was part of this Jashne Mumbai program. It's a great pleasure. In fact, that actually instigated me to have this virtual tour. So I should thank you guys, and thanks to every participant. I hope to looking forward to let's have a physical walk maybe in next few months. Let's see how it goes. Thank you. Good evening to all.
Absolutely, we all look forward to that, and have a great evening. Thank you.